Hebrews, Hebrews, Hebrews. This is our non-Messianic conversation channel. This is our Wednesday night advanced Bible class, the 21st of April, 2021. Before we get started, I was going to ask everybody to like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification button. So with that being said, we're going to do our moment of silence in regards to Yahweh, the Creator, and His Redeemer, the Lord of Hosts, and all that they are doing to orchestrate our regathering and our leaving of land of our oppressors. So we're gonna do a prayer, and then we're gonna go into our Psalms, and then do our current events. O Lord, righteousness and uprightness belong unto thee. Therefore we come before thee at this hour, seeking thy face, and looking for righteousness and uprightness, that we may walk before thee as thy servant David and Solomon and Samuel and Hezekiah did, that we may walk before thee in truth and in righteousness and in rightness of heart. Give unto us, O Lord, an understanding heart, that we may discern between good and bad, that we possess the power to turn us, O Lord. For we desire to walk after thee, O Lord, and to keep your commandments and your testimony and your statutes with all our heart and soul, to perform the words of the covenant that was written down by your prophets. O Lord, allow thy face to shine upon thy people. Hear our plea. Hear and do, O Lord. Hide not thy face from us, for we need you so much at this hour. Peace be unto you, Lord. Okay. I'm going to read the Psalms. So I'm going to read Psalms 113. It's God's mercies are many. Praise ye the Lord. Praise, O ye servants of the Lord. Praise the name of the Lord. Blessed be the name of the Lord from his time forth and forevermore. From the rising of the sun unto the going down of the same, the Lord's name is to be praised. The Lord is high above all nations, and his glory above the heavens. Who is likened unto the Lord our God, who dwelleth on high, who humbleth himself to behold the things that are in heaven and in the earth. He raises up the poor out of the dust, and lifteth up the needy out of the dunghill, that he may set him with princes, even the princes of his people. He maketh the barren woman to keep house, and to be joyful, a joyful mother of children. Praise ye the Lord. So that was Psalms 113, and it was God's mercies are many. So with that being said, we're gonna go to current events. Anybody got any current events? Okay, no current events. But ain't got nothing. Okay, here we go. I got a couple of things. The first one is, like I said, there's so many signs and so many events going on around us. If you can't see that the Lord is on the move, there's something wrong. This first one right here is, let me get it, bring it up. It's got this rare subtropical storm that's taking place in the Atlantic Ocean, and hurricane season is a couple of months away. So this has got to be almost like a once in a lifetime thing. So let me look at it. It says, uh, what's going on? Okay, it says a rare subtropical storm takes shape in the Atlantic Ocean. The start of the Atlantic hurricane season is still more than a month away, but a new and unusual tropical system has developed in a part of the Atlantic Ocean where tropical systems rarely occur. It says the subtropical storm Patra takes shape on Tuesday morning with sustained winds of 40 miles per hour outside the traditional Atlantic basin. Instead of spinning up in the Gulf of Mexico, the Caribbean Sea, or the Atlantic Ocean, it develops south of the equator off the coast of Brazil. Okay, it says Patra can be traced back to a non-tropical disturbance that moved off the coast of Brazil over the weekend before stalling over the ocean just off the coast. As it set over the water, it gradually started to organize and take on some characteristics of a tropical storm, eventually being declared as a tropical storm by Brazil. There it is right there. It says subtropical storm Patra off the coast of eastern Brazil Tuesday. They say only a handful of tropical systems have ever been recorded over the Atlantic Ocean south of the equator, although the frequency of this phenomenon has been trending upward in the recent years. Before Patra developed, there was only been 14 named tropical storms in the southern Atlantic Ocean, the majority of which were subtropical storms. This means that they have meteorological characteristics of both the tropical storm and non-tropical storm. So, like you say, that's unusual. That's very rarely happens. So it's still about a month or so before hurricane season starts, and they already got this unusual phenomenon happening. Okay. So here goes another one. Okay. And like I was saying, saying before, we had like for over the last couple of months almost, it's like South keep getting all these severe thunderstorms, which this is rare too. So it says right here, severe thunderstorm threat returns to the South this Friday and Saturday. A threat of severe thunderstorms will return to the South as we close out the week, signaling the start of what might be a more active period of severe weather as April comes to a close. Okay. So we see this is like the fourth or fifth time in the last couple of months that we've had this going on like this. Okay. Another one I got is I'll be telling you about the meteors. Let's look at this. It says right here, first big meteor shower in months peak today. It says right here, the last significant meteor shower took place back in January when a quadruptic meteor shower helped us ring in the new year. It's been a while since there's been an occasion to head out into the night to hunt meteors. So, given the timing, it's probably been a while since you wanted to sit outside of for hours. Okay. So what we're looking at right here is another unusual event that's happening. It hadn't happened in a while. These meteor showers. We got one more. Any comments? Okay, here go the last one. This tied to I've been telling you about the water event. The water event I was telling you about on it's on the money. It says as a mega drought persists, new projections show a key Colorado River reservoir could sink to a record low later this year. Racked by drought, climate change, and overuse, the key reservoir on the Colorado River could sink to historical low levels later this year. New U.S. government projections show potentially triggering significant water cutbacks in some states as early as next year. So those saying it's tied to the Hoover Dam. And I told you it's on the money. The projections released by the U.S. Bureau of Reclamation show that Lake Mead, the largest reservoir in the country and a vital water supply to millions across the Southwest, will fall later this year to its lowest level since it was filled in 1930. The USBR will release its next major study in August. That study projects water levels in the lake will be below the critical threshold of 1,075 feet on July 1st, 2022. Some users will begin to see their water deliveries cut significantly next year. Cuts will be triggered based on terms of drought contingency plans signed by 7 Colorado River Basin states in 2019 in an effort to stabilize the water system. So keep your eyes open for that. Any comments?
So much is happening. You can see the weather is changing. Shootings are getting worse. It's just so much is happening and changing now. So you got to know it's about time for us to leave this place. The storms I know here in Louisiana, the first part of the year has been bad, and oh my goodness,
Right.
yes. And with fuel going up and all of that, today I got a letter from the electric company saying the electric bill will be going up for the next 12 months. I mean,
Right.
it's just so much happening.
Right. Falling apart. The place comes apart. Right. And like I said, you don't think those other countries ain't watching. Yeah. So everybody got to stay on alert because you never know what's going to happen now from day to day. Yeah. So with that being said, I got 2 videos I want to play. Let me see. Let me play this first one. Then we'll talk about it.
I'll check my little brain game. But listen, I'm talking about the placebo effect. Let's get serious, right? The placebo effect is way serious than a lot of people think. You may have never heard of it, you may have heard of it, but we'll break it down today. I've been asking for this video tons of times. I already did a video about it, but we're gonna do one today. The placebo effect. Now, know your body is an instrument of your mind. Whatever your mind say, your body does. It's not the opposite. That's why I tell y'all, be careful what you think because you become what you think, right? This is how the placebo works. Let me give you an example, right? They divided a group of people up. One group, they gave them the real pill to take. The other group was a fake pill. Basically, by him telling them, hey, take this pill is going to cure whatever your problem is. The ones that had the fake pill cured quicker than the ones that had the real pill. Why? Because they activated the thought that this pill is going to work. Despite the fact that the pill was a sugar pill, the placebo is real. If I give you a joint to smoke and it smell like weed, look like weed, you're going to perceive it as a weed. You're going to be walking around like you high, knowing you ain't smoking no but some fake weed. This is the placebo. Another example, start letting other people tell you what they think you can't do. Because if you believe that shit, that's a placebo. And when you don't believe it, you ain't gonna do what it is you decide to do. Very important. Like I say, also I'm gonna give y'all I'm gonna show y'all a short video. It's gonna blow y'all mind to let you see that most, you think it's 1 out of 3 surgeries, it be placebo, fake surgeries. I mean, they really bring you in, put you under, make you look like you having real surgery, keep you in there for 30, 40 minutes, however long the real surgery. And all of the whole while, it's a fake surgery. But then they bring you back later to see how you're doing. And you fine. But all before you complain about this and that, they gave you a fake surgery and all of a sudden you fine. The placebo effect is real, people. This is how the government used this against us. It's called psychology. I told y'all, they know more about you than you know about yourself. You understand me? Now, no further ado, I want y'all to check out this little short video. And like I say, man, look up placebo. When I'm done with this video, I got a couple more things I'll let y'all about. Check this out.
We had a very elaborate ruse, if you will. I would play a videotape on the TV of a real surgery. And while I was watching the TV, I would ask for instruments and pass things back and forth and carry on conversation as if it was what I would really have done if what was happening on the TV screen was actually going on during that surgery. So we would have water splashing, we would have instruments clanking, and we would do this for the same amount of time that the actual surgery on the videotape took place, so that a patient and their family couldn't watch the clock and say, oh, we were only in the operating room for 10 minutes, so it must have been a pretend surgery. Good gosh, here's a patient who we're pretending to do surgery on. We're not really doing surgery. And I would say, if you think that the surgery helped your knee, I want you to give me a thumbs up. If you think the surgery didn't help your knee, I want you to give me a thumbs down. And if you're not sure or you're kind of neutral, just hold your hand flat.
The verdict? Success for every group, fake or genuine. Sham surgery had worked. The patients who had it were astonished.
The response ranged from, you got to be kidding me, I can't believe it, bewilderment, there must be a mistake, because they all felt so strongly that something had happened to change what was going on inside their knee. There are clearly cases where we do surgeries and it's as much or more the patient's feeling about the surgery that influences the result as the actual surgery itself.
Dr. Mosley had seen patients get better purely because of what was in their minds. The pain had gone.
Okay, we comments. We had the halfway mark. No comments. I can keep playing.
But if you have a doctor that you go to, ask them what the placebo is. Now, some of them might play crazy and don't want to tell you because they don't want to ruin the secret. But I'm telling you, man, the placebo is real. You understand me? Very, very, I mean, y'all pay close attention. I'm telling y'all, psychology is one thing that y'all need to study. Once you figure out a lot of things about psychology, you'll know how the world works or you'll know how people work. You get what I'm saying? Another thing, too, I tell y'all, colors. Why you think on certain pill bottles, there be certain colors? Blue represents like sleepiness, trust in some cases. Red represents pain or danger, and in some cases it represents food. For some reason, red make people hungry. That's why Wendy's is red, KFC is red, McDonald's got red in it. Who else? Chick-fil-A got red in it. These are the things that they know that you don't know. They even go as far as the menu. You got menu engineers, people that create menus for a reason, and it's linked with psychology. The things that make us buy certain stuff just by seeing it. And y'all might think that is crazy because you don't know psychology. Look up menu engineers, people that create food menus and all type of menus, and why they put numbers on this, why they this. You ever notice when you go in a restaurant, a high-end restaurant, they never have pictures of the stuff that they sell. All this is by design. It's for a reason. Same with social media. I know I'm getting a little off track, but I'm just trying to link all this stuff to show you how you can lead a horse to water. You can't make them drink, but the trick is to make them thirsty. They use gambling. Why do people like gambling? Gambling engineers. This is what helped build social media. Facebook to be exact. I told y'all that little heart button is there for a reason. It's the same as dopamine. When they see the heart button, dopamine is equivalent to smoking crack cocaine. When you see that heart button, you wake up in the morning, that girl don't hit that heart, but you get the same feeling as crack cocaine, dopamine. Well, this is real. People are not addicted to social media for nothing. Trust me, if you pay attention, you checking social media every 5 minutes. Literally logging off, going right back on it. I know it. Trust me, they do this based off psychology, but the placebo effect is real. I want y'all to understand that they use it against us all the time. Be careful how you perceive things. Because like I say, when you around negative people, you're going to end up in negative places, doing negative things, you're going to get negative results. But on the flip side of that, if you around positive people in positive places doing positive things, you can get positive results. You got to be aware of that. So, again, the body is an instrument in your mind. When people say, oh, I'm cold, stop doing it. Hack your body, hack your mind. I don't know what cold means. I ain't saying go out there and freeze it there, but you get what I'm saying. Stop saying I'm sick every time you cough one little time. I'm sick. If your body don't know what the word sick means, how can you get sick? This is why you have to go to school and talk certain things so that they can use the issue. Say this all the time. Makes sense though, right? Same thing with the Indians. When the colonizers, the Europeans, came and took over this specific Indian tribe. No little off topic, I'm going to show you just how powerful this is. They tried to implement the religion on them, right? Telling them if they don't believe in this certain religion, that this is going to happen. But you know what the problem was? They didn't have words in their vocabulary to relate to what them people was talking about. So it didn't work on them. You get what I'm saying? Meaning, if I say, hey, if you don't believe in this, this gonna happen. And I look at you like, I don't know what that means or that means. So how can it affect me? If you don't know what sick means, how can it affect me? So stop telling yourself you're sick. Stop telling yourself you can't do this, you can't do that. You gotta start doing it, because all you're doing is putting spells on yourself. If you believe that, you're gonna do that. Carry this out in your life, man. I'm telling you. Anything you do, you need to be confident that you can make it happen. Matter of fact, foresee it. You done already made it happen. But like I said, all this stuff ties into somewhere or another, man. The placebo effect is real. I'm telling y'all, it is real. Because like I say, do your own research on it. You know what I'm saying? And
any comments?
So true. So true. If you taking a lot of medication right now, you need to think about that. Because a lot of the pills they give you is in your mind. You're thinking it's helping you with your pain or whatever, and it's just getting you hooked on the pain pills versus helping your pain, and you thinking you're needing them. I'm gonna say, for instance, like when we were younger, and you may have fell and bumped your head, and you know your mom kissed that on your head, you're thinking it's all better. You know, the mind is a strong thing, so you got to be careful. Also, you got to be careful who you listen to and who you follow.
Right. Exactly.
It's real.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. It's like I said before. When you think about what I've been saying about the video I did on Buddhism and I was telling you about the Greeks, how they used geometry. You know, they got it from the Egyptians, but it's it's like subliminal. They use numbers when they build a certain building. They build a certain height and certain architecture and all that. It's all it's all to affect the mind. But like he was saying, people don't know that about that type of stuff. And a good video to go and Google, person to go and Google is this guy called Christian Littner, and he breaking down how they created the New Testament, how they got certain sentences, certain amount of words in a sentence, certain amount of letters in a sentence, and how all that is reason why people so flipped out on the New Testament and on Jesus. And then the guy right there said something that was significant too about how they use red. Red is a major player. Is a major player when you're dealing with psychology. So when you go to the New Testament, everything Jesus said written in red. So it's something to think about. And then one more thing, like he said, it didn't work on the Indians because the Indians didn't, they were speaking words, but the Indians they understand what they were. So come to the day, to where we at today. Look, we go to school at 6 years old. As soon as we able to start reasoning and all that, they send us to school and program us to their way of thinking. So when they tell you something, then like you said, it's gonna work because they showed you how to think like them and read like them and understand like they do. So when they tried it on some people that didn't understand what they was doing, it didn't work.
Right.
But this right here, like you said, is like I was telling you about the guy Christian Littner was telling you about how Jesus is pi. And then which is a circle. And then so that's the reason the circle behind his head, which is the sun and all that. But like I say, go check that or go Google. He got a bunch of videos, and he's breaking down all that stuff that's pertaining to Greek psychology and all that, and how I was telling you about it's an art, just like typology. Typology is an art. You can take when you use typology, you can take a word or a place or a person or anything and go to have any old book and just go in that book, and then you can through typology you can place that person anywhere in that book you want to place them to. Place them anywhere in the world or any time, any era or any time frame, or wherever you want to place them, you can do it. And how you do it is types. So you got I've been showing everybody on the line from the time we've been on here, Genesis 18. Who Jesus is. I mean, the Lord of Hosts is in Genesis 18 with the three angels. But Jesus tell you in the book of John that before Abraham was, I am he. The day that Abraham met me, he rejoiced. So by him saying that, now they didn't place him over there. He's the person that Abraham met in Genesis 18. And we know that that's a lie because he ain't no angel. They didn't told you the narrative is that he was created above the angel. But the person Abraham met in Genesis 18 is an angel. So that's a lie. Yeah. Okay. Any comment? So like I say, check that guy out. His name Christian Littner. And that's what that is with those.
What is his name again?
Christian Libner.
Okay.
Oh no, Lidner. Okay. So with that being said, I was gonna play this right here because I thought it was kind of interesting. Yeah.
This is your brother L. I'm the minister, teacher, and leader here at Victory Success Destiny Ministries, located in Alpharetta, Georgia. On this discussion, I wanted to share a portion of my testimony. I've spoken on aspects of my testimony before on this channel, but in this particular discussion, I want to go a little bit more in depth. And the reason I want to do that is because I would like for you brothers and sisters to share this video with anyone that you may know that is a Christian pastor, anyone of your family or friends, acquaintances that consider themselves Christians. I would like for you to share this with them so that prayerfully a piece of my testimony can give them food for thought, can make them even more desirous to follow the Most High and the Messiah, even more desirous to search the scriptures and to love the Most High's truth even more, so that their names can be written in the Lamb's book of life and so that they can enter into the kingdom of heaven. That's my humble desire for all who will come across this video as I share my testimony. I've titled this video From Christian Pastor to Awakened Hebrew. From Christian Pastor to Awakened Hebrew. I started off preaching very young in the Christian churches because I knew from a very young age that the Most High had called me to preach and to teach. I knew it from the age of 13 and 14, and I embraced that call. I did not run from it. And from a very young age, I began to preach and teach in the Baptist church as a minister of the Most High in Christianity. And I thank the Most High for my beginnings. I thank him also for where I am today. But it's very important that we never forget our roots, that we remember these things so that we can have compassion on those who are in a similar place in their journey that we once were. And that's why I would like this video to be shared with Christian pastors and other brothers and sisters who consider themselves Christian. I'm going to show some footage here from just a sample of one of the old sermons that I preached back then. And as we go through this process, we got to understand there's certain things that we must do in our daily walk with Christ. There's 5 things that we must do in our Christian walk. So I'm going to share with you 5 points. First point, know your position. Second point, make wise decisions. Third point, don't wait for favorable conditions. Fourth point, expand your vision. Fifth point, stay on your mission. When I say know your position, I mean that Apostle Paul said that everybody in the church and the body of Christ was given certain gifts. Some are called to be preachers and pastors. Some are called to be teachers. Some have the gift of encouraging others. Some have the gift of leadership. Some have the gift of prophecy. Some can understand tongues, discern tongues. Basically, we need to know our position in Christ and who we are in Christ. And when I say who you are, I'm not talking about your government name. Like whether their financial situation, their age, or health condition, blaming other people for their problems and their fears. Some people get discouraged because they're poor. But did you know that Jesus Christ was raised in the ghetto? Jesus Christ was raised in the ghettos of Nazareth. Nazareth was a poor village. Nazareth was the ghetto. Even Peter said to Philip, after Philip came to him and told him that they found a Messiah and that he was from Nazareth, Peter had the nerve to say, Nazareth? Can anything good?
So if you don't know who this guy is, this guy from Manifest Destiny. This is what he was doing before he became Israelite. So it's a lot of more folks out there like this.
Come from Nazareth? Just so you can have a time marker to see in real time what has brought me to where I am right now and why I think the way I do right now. One thing that I want those out there who are considering themselves Christians or Christian pastors, one thing I want them to understand is that saying that I am an awakened Hebrew does not change the fact that you and I still agree that there is one God, the Most High of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Even though I may consider myself an awakened Hebrew and you consider yourself a Christian, we both still agree that the Messiah is the Son of the Most High.
Okay.
Even though I may consider myself an awakened Hebrew and you may consider yourself a Christian, what we can agree on is that we both hope to enter into the kingdom of heaven. We both hope to have our master, our king. You may call him Jesus. Others may call him Yeshua. Some may call him Yeshaya. Some may call him Yahawashai. There's many names that are out there. This video is not to go in depth or get in a debate about the name. What you and I can agree on is that, for the most part, we believe that the Messiah came to earth in a human body, that he never sinned against his Father, that he died and was buried, stayed in the grave for 3 days, and on the third day he resurrected with all power. These are things that myself, as an awakened Hebrew, and you, as a Christian, both believe. I understand that some of the representations of the
See what he's doing, right?
Oh my, oh my.
Hebrew walk
So
that you may have seen have not been truly representative of the Messiah, not truly representative of his message and his word. And it's no different than in Christianity, where there's many different denominations. There's many different facets and philosophies, even within some of your doctrines. So just as you would not want the totality of your religion to be judged.
Okay. So so this is what I was saying. That's what I was meaning right here about this. People saying they're awakened, but I mean, what's the difference? How can you use the word awaken? You believe in the same thing. You sleep. You said you sleep when you was believing that the Most High had a son died on the cross. Now you say you're awakened, but you still got a son that's on the cross. How you? I ain't understanding that. Any comment on it? Anybody else got something? Okay.
Thing, he's saying the same thing as he was saying before. All the
Right.
principles he believed before are the same. So
Right.
I'm not understanding that either. I think he was going somewhere else, but he kind of is believing the same thing.
Right. He's saying he awakened, but I mean, what's the difference? You say you awakened, it make no sense to me. Yeah.
I guess I think because he changed his attire, maybe that. I don't know, but I'm with S Mac. He's still talking the same thing as he was doing in the church. The only thing different is his attire. That's it.
Right. Then it's like I said, what bugs me out is cause the concept. Just like I was telling you about typology. That's something that came from in psychology. All that came from the Greeks. You can't pin that on. That's a way of thinking, a way of life. That's how the Greeks was. So the concept of a man dying on the cross and dying for his sins, when the Most High then told us when he was dealing with Naomi and Ruth that he don't sacrifice. You don't do no human sacrifices and never have it even entered his mind.
Right.
So how can he have a son hidden in the bush if sacrificing a human on a crop on a human sacrifice never entered his mind?
Mm.
It's crazy. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, crazy.
Yeah.
So with that being said, I'm gonna go into the lesson for the day. It's I'm reading. I'm doing Isaiah 10 and 11. I'm gonna read chapter 10 and we'll talk about it. Then I'm gonna read chapter 11. Okay. Okay. In chapter 10, it says, chapter 10, verse 1. Woe unto them that decree unrighteous decrees, and that write grievous which they have prescribed. Turn aside the needy from judgment, and take away the right from the poor of my people, that widows may be their prey, and that they may rob the fatherless. And what will we do in the day of visitation, in the desolation which shall come from far? To whom will ye flee for help? And where will ye leave your glory? Without me, they shall bow down under the prisoners, and they shall fall under the slain. For all this, his anger is not turned us away, but his hand is stretched out still. O Assyrian, the rod of mine anger, and the staff is in their hand, is mine indignation. I will send him against a hypocritical nation, and against the people of my wrath will I give him a charge, to take a spoil, and to take a prey, and to tread them down like the mere in the streets. Howbeit he meaneth not so, neither doeth his heart think so, but it is in his heart to destroy and cut off nations, not a few. For he said, are not my princes altogether kings? Is not Calnu as Carchemish, and is not Hamath as Arphad, and is not Samaria as Damascus? As my hand had found the kingdoms of the idols, and whose graven images did excel them of Jerusalem and Samaria, shall I not, as I have done unto Samaria and her idols, so do to Jerusalem and her idols? Wherefore it shall come to pass that when the Lord hath performed his whole work upon Mount Zion and on Jerusalem, I will punish the fruit of the stout heart of the king of Assyria and the glory of his high looks. For he said, by the strength of my hand I have done it, and by my wisdom, for I am prudent, and have removed the bounds of the people, and have robbed their treasures, and have put down the inhabitants like a valiant man. And my hand hath found as a nest the riches of the people, and as one gathered eggs that are left, have I gathered all the earth, and there was none that moved the wing, or opened the mouth, or peeped. Shall the axe boast itself against him that heweth therewith, or shall the saw magnify itself against him that shaketh it, as if the rod should shake itself against them that lift it up, or as if the staff should lift up itself as if it were no wood? Therefore shall the Lord of hosts, send among the fat ones leanness, and under his glory he shall kindle a burning like the burning of a fire. And the light of Israel shall be for a fire, and his Holy One for a flame, and it shall burn and devour his thorns and his briars in one day, and shall consume the glory of his forest and of his fruitful field, both soul and body. And they shall be as when a standard bearer fainteth, and the rest of the trees of his forest shall be few, that a child may write them. Okay, so verse 18 says, and it shall consume the glory of his forest, and his fruitful field both soul and body. So, like I've been telling you, the body is soul, and the body is two different separate. You know, when you're dealing with a person, they got a body and a soul, but they separate. And the soul, the Creator tells you, it was a body laying there when He created Adam. It was a body laying there. Then He breathed the breath of life. That's His soul. He put the soul in the body. Then the body came to life. So when a person died, you know, the soul gone. It's just the body there. And you have to understand that. And so that's what I'm talking about when I say when you communicate with somebody, especially with these truths right here, you ain't talking to you're talking to the person, to the soul, the spirit, and that's what the Most High is, spirit, and the words that you speak in the spirit and truth. So you have to over time you start developing a craft, a art on how you doing a lot of listening on what this person's saying, which is the spirit part and what they're saying, and you addressing that. You're not trying to somebody that's puffed up would, but if you want to convey something to a person, some of this information, you listen to what they saying, then you react, then you counter it. You're not saying what you want to say and going where you want to go. You listening to them to that spirit. And then you address whatever it is that they said, because that's how you're gonna get in. You're not gonna get in just talking and off the top and saying whatever you want to say. You addressing whatever they came forth from them. And like I said, it's an art. You thought you slowly you developed that. Anyway, 20 says, Isaiah 10 and 20, and it shall come to pass in that day that the remnant of Israel, and such as are escaped of the house of Jacob, shall no more again stay upon him that smote them, but shall stay upon the Lord, the Holy One of Israel in truth. The remnant shall return, even the remnant of Jacob, unto the mighty God. For though thy people Israel be as the sand of the sea, yet the remnant of them shall return. The consumption decreed shall overflow with righteousness. So what we're reading right here is, like I was telling you before, it says, and you have to understand this, it says, verse 20, it shall come to pass in that day that the remnant of Israel, and such as are escaped of the house of Jacob, shall no more again stay upon him that smote them, but shall stay upon the Lord of hosts, the Lord of Israel in truth. The remnant shall return, even the remnant of Jacob, unto the mighty God. So, like I was saying before, if you don't understand what's going on, you're all over the place with your understanding. So, Isaiah is talking about the captivity and when they go to Babylon. And he says right here in 21, the remnant shall return, even the remnant of Jacob, unto the mighty God. So where they coming from? They returning. They was in Babylon. And he's saying that they're going to return. A remnant is going to return. My point is this, 20, and it shall come to pass in that day that a remnant of Israel, and such as are escaped of the house of Jacob. So what do we mean by escape? Let's go to Nehemiah. So the Most High already got a covenant with David that if Israel start sinning against him, he's gonna bring the people, Gentiles, to Israel and cause them to be subjected to them, and they're gonna be in captivity. So the ones that he allowed to live are the ones that escape. They escape the onslaught of the wicked folks when they came. Like when Nebuchadnezzar came, he killed a lot of Israelites. But some Israelites lived. Some Israelites taken to Babylon. Those are the ones that's what that word means. Those that did escape are the ones that survived the chaos that he brought on Israel. So let me go and show you what I'm talking about. Be an example. And so when you see that word, then you know it kind of can you can zero in on, get an understanding of what's going on. Yeah. Like I said, he ain't talking to us. You have to understand that. Let me get Nehemiah. Okay, I'm in Nehemiah. Hold that where I was at. I'm in Nehemiah, and these Israelites they in captivity in Babylon. Nehemiah in captivity in Babylon. So it says, Nehemiah chapter 1, verse 1. The words of Nehemiah, the son of Hilkiah, and it came to pass in the month of Chesim, in the 20th year, as I was in Shushan, the palace. That's in captivity. He in Shushan, that's in Babylon. So he in captivity in Babylon. So verse 2, that Hanau, one of my brethren, came, he and certain men of Judah, they came from Jerusalem. And they came to Babylon. So Nehemiah understand what this those that did escape means. So he says, verse 2, that Hanau, one of my brethren, came, he and certain men of Judah, and I asked them, see that, concerning the Jews that had escaped, see that, which were left, see, they survived what Nebuchadnezzar had done, that had escaped, which were left of the captivity, and concerning Jerusalem. And they said unto me, the remnant, those that did escape, and the remnant, the same thing. The remnant that are left of the captivity there in the province are in great affliction and reproach. And the wall of Jerusalem also was broken down, and the gates thereof burning with fire. So like I say, they thinking like Hebrews. They haven't been in no 400-year captivity like us and lost our identity. So he knows that all these Israelites know they're going to, wherever they are in captivity, they look toward Jerusalem. And he's always going to leave a remnant there, those that did escape. And then they know that eventually the Most High going to bring them back there. But if they can look to Jerusalem and there ain't no Israelites there, they know they through. So let's go back over here with that understanding. Okay. So it says, in verse 20, it says, and it shall come to pass in that day that the remnant of Israel and such as are escaped of the house of Jacob. So, like I said, he ain't talking to us. He's talking about those that survived what Nebuchadnezzar had done. He ain't talking to us. So it says, shall no more again stay upon him that smote thee, but they shall stay upon the Lord, the Holy One of Israel in truth. The remnant shall return. That's Zerubbabel, Nehemiah, all of them came back. Ezra, they came back. So it says, back to the remnant that was left there. So he says, unto the mighty God, for though thy people Israel be as the sands of the sea, yet the remnant of them shall return, and the consumption decree shall overflow with the righteousness. For the Lord of hosts shall make a consumption, even determined in the midst of all of thee. So when you understand how the Most High works, the same thing getting ready to happen now. He says in verse 22, but though thy people Israel be as the sands of the sea, that's how we were before the transatlantic slave trade, right? And then it says, for though thy people be as the sands of the sea, yet a remnant of them shall return, and the consumption decree shall overflow with righteousness. So you say, what are you talking about? Let's look at it. So we know how many people died on the train doing crossing over the Middle Passage. How many people died? How many died on the plantations? How many died through lynchings and all that? So let's look at it. I'm in Deuteronomy, curses. 28. Like I said, it's nothing new under the sun. He says, I'm in Deuteronomy 28, verse 20 says, the Lord shall send upon thee cursing, vexation, rebuke, and all that thou shalt set thine hand unto to do, until thou be destroyed, until thou perish quickly, because of the wickedness of thy doing, whereby thou hast forsaken me. And the Lord shall make thee pestilence cleave unto thee, until he hath consumed thee from off the land, whether thou goest to possess it. The Lord shall smite thee with consumption, and with fever, and with inflammation, and with extreme burning, and with sword, and with blasting, and with mildew. Thou shalt pursue thee, and they shall pursue thee until thou perish. And thy heavens that is over thy head shall be brass, and the earth that is under thy feet shall be iron. This is what I mentioned the other day when I showed you the picture of the Israelites throwing their hands up in the air. They was throwing their hands up in the air because that always worked. But when this happened, it wasn't working. They was throwing their hands up, but he done told them right here, the heavens that is over your head shall be as brass, and the earth that is under your feet shall be as iron. That's what we at now. Okay, let me get this here. Yeah, right here. Verse 62 and 63 says, and ye shall be left few in number. That's a remnant. So when they was in Babylon, before they went to Babylon, there's a lot of them. But he says, I just read, few gonna come back. Right here in Deuteronomy 28, 62. Ye shall be left few in number, whereas ye were as the stars of heaven for a multitude, because thou wouldest not obey the voice of the Lord thy God. 63. And it shall come to pass that as the Lord rejoiced over thee to do you good, to multiply you, so just like they got the big buzz and multitude, so the Lord will rejoice over you to destroy you and to bring you to naught. And ye shall be plucked from off the land, whether thou goest to possess it, and the Lord shall scatter thee among all people from one end of the earth, even unto the other, and there thou shalt serve other gods. See that? So you say, this right here killed JC. There thou shalt serve other gods, not him. He done drove you out the land. He had a buzzing multitude, and he drove you out of the land, reduced you to few in number, and then he says that he's gonna send you to another place. You're gonna deal with another God. So when you read this right here in sequence, it don't make no sense. He done reduced you down. He rejoiced over you to destroy you. Then he gonna send his son to lay hands on you. Look what it say. It said, come to pass, as the Lord rejoiced over you to do you good and to multiply you, so the Lord will rejoice over you to destroy you and bring you to naught, that ye be plucked off of the land, whether thou goest to possess it. And the Lord shall scatter thee among all people from one end of the earth even to the other, and there ye shall serve other gods. See, that's the process. Not you're gonna send a son and lay hands on you and send salvation. He says right here, you're gonna serve other gods, which neither thou nor thy father have known. Right. So I don't want to get sidebarred. So yeah, so you see that? So that's the sequence. It don't add up with the JC story. That's what's mind-boggling when brothers say they didn't woke up and they say hollering about JC, but yeah, it's crazy. Anyway, I'm back in Isaiah chapter 10, verse 23 says, the Lord God of hosts shall make a consumption, even determined in the midst of all the land. Then it says, promise deliverance, just like now. That's what we waiting on, promise deliverance. Therefore, thus says the Lord God of hosts, O my people that dwelleth in Zion, be not afraid of the Assyrian. He shall smite thee with a rod, and shall lift up his staff against thee after the manner of Egypt. For yet a little while and the indignation shall cease, and mine anger in their destruction, and the Lord of hosts shall stir up a scourge for him according to the slaughter of Midian at the rock of Oreb. And as the rod was upon the sea, so shall he lift so shall he lift it up after the manner of Egypt. And it shall come to pass in that day that his burden shall be taken away from off thy shoulders, and his yoke from off thy neck, and the yoke shall be destroyed because of the anointing. Same thing is that we watching happening right now. He has come to, I don't know that word, he is pressed at Migron and Migmash. He have laid us up his carriages. They are gone over the passage. They have taken up their lodging in Geba. Ramah is afraid. Gilba of Saul is fled. Lift up thy voice, O daughter of Gollum, cause it to be heard unto Laish. O poor, keep going, man, is removed. The inhabitants of Gibeon gather themselves to flee. As yet shall he remain at Nod. That day he shall shake his hand against the mount of the daughter of Zion, the hill of Jerusalem. Behold, the Lord of hosts shall loop the bow with terror, and the high ones of stature shall be hewn down, and the haughty shall be humbled, and he shall cut down the thicket and the forest with iron, and Lebanon shall fall by the mighty. Okay, so like I was saying before, this is, the Most High has is a process. When you understand how he operates, you pretty much can see what he's doing the same thing now. All you have to do is wait on it. Yeah. So, any comments on chapter 10? Anything I said, anybody understand? Want some go in on it? Okay. We're in chapter 11. It says everybody should know this chapter. Chapter 11, verse 1 is the righteous reign of the branch of Jesse. And there shall come forth a rod out of the stem of Jesse, and a branch shall grow out of his roots. So anybody know who Jesse is?
That David's father?
Right. So it says right here, there shall come forth a rod out of Jesse. Who is that? Who's the rod that's come out of Jesse?
King David.
Right, there you go. Yeah. So we can't fumble with that. It ain't like you got 5 or 6 options. We already know the story. Samuel, he sent Samuel to Jesse's house. Jesse lived in Bethlehem. There go your typology right there. That's why JC out of Bethlehem, because they're trying to place him in the same place, same situation with David. So he says, there shall come forth a rod out of Jesse, right? And a branch shall grow out of his roots. And the Spirit of the Lord shall rest upon him, the Spirit of wisdom and understanding, the Spirit of counsel and might, and the Spirit of knowledge and the fear of the Lord, right? So what's going on? Let's go to Zechariah right quick. Zechariah, I've been showing you that the Most High created 7 angels in the very beginning. Not when he had no son, he had 7 angels that he formed. Verse 10, Zechariah 4 and 10 says, for who have despised the day of small things, for they shall rejoice and see the plummet in the hands of Zerubbabel. So Zerubbabel is the king that the Lord of hosts raised up after the 7 years in Babylon, and Zerubbabel came back to Jerusalem and built the temple, rebuilt Solomon's temple, right? But look what he said, who's going to help him? Verse 10 says, for who have despised the day of small things, for they shall rejoice and see the plummet in the hands of Zerubbabel with those 7. They are the eyes of the Lord, which run to and fro in the whole earth. So this is who they created in the very beginning. This is who the 7 angels he formed in the very beginning. They're the ones doing all this bidding. So just to go in a little further, this how you can connect the dots with Genesis 1:26. Let us go down. Let us go down and make man in our image. This who we talking to right here. Zechariah 4:10, those 7. Then in chapter 11 of Genesis, at the Tower of Babel, let us go down and confound the languages of men. So we talking to. Ain't no Father, Son, and Holy Ghost. It's these 7 right here. It's in Zechariah 4:10. You say, why are you showing me this? Well, let's go back where I was at. I'm in chapter 11 of Isaiah. I was just reading. Verse 1. There shall come forth a rod out of the stem of Jesse. A branch shall grow out of his root. So we know that's David. Well, we just saw that he had it was 7 angels with Zerubbabel. The same 7 angels with Zerubbabel. That's how the temple got rebuilt. Well, we see right here, verse 1 is talking about David. Now look at verse 2. The Spirit of the Lord shall rest upon him. That's the Lord of hosts. That's a spirit of the angel. So that's 1. The Spirit of wisdom, 2. Understanding, 3. The Spirit of counsel, 4. Might, 5. The Spirit of knowledge, 6. And the fear of the Lord, 7. Same thing going on. They done flipped it around though, but it's just like he says it's 7 with Zerubbabel, it's 7 with David in verse 2. So verse 3 says, and it shall make him of quick understanding in the fear of the Lord, and he shall not judge after the sight of his eyes. So that's why he's saying that. He ain't gonna judge by what he see. His emotions ain't gonna get all in it. He got these 7 angels there. He's gonna judge rightly. So he says, and he shall make him of quick understanding in the fear of the Lord, and he shall not judge after the sight of his eyes, neither reprove after the hearing of his ears, but with righteousness shall he judge the poor, and reprove with equity for the meek of the earth. And he shall smite the earth with the rod of his mouth, and with the breath of his lips shall he slay the wicked. And righteousness shall be the girdle of his loins, and faithfulness the girdle of his reign. The wolf shall also dwell with the lamb, and the leopard shall lie down with the kid, and the calf and the young lion and the fatlings together, and a little child shall lead them, and the cow and the bear shall feed, their young ones shall lie down together, and the lion shall eat straw like an ox, and the suckling child shall play in the hole of a basket, and the weaned child shall put his hands on the cockatrice den. So they snakes, or asp is a snake. So anyway, 9, they shall not hurt nor destroy in all my holy mountain, for the Lord shall be full, so the earth shall be full of the knowledge of the Lord as the waters cover the sea. Then you go verse 10. And in that day, there shall be a root out of Jesse. We just read that in verse 1, which shall stand for an ensign of the people. David dead right here. And in that day, there shall be a root out of Jesse, which shall stand for an ensign of the people. To it shall the Gentiles seek, and his rest shall be glorious. So we say, what you talking about? Okay, verse 10 says, in that day, there shall be a root out of Jesse, which shall stand for an ensign of the people. And to it the Gentiles, unto it shall the Gentiles seek, and his rest shall be glorious. So like I was telling you before, nothing new under the sun. So I'm in Haggai, right quick. Haggai chapter 2, verse 20. So they in Babylon, and they got to go back to Jerusalem. So they need a king got to be identified, and so we know it's Zerubbabel. So I'm in Haggai. Haggai came back from Babylon with Zerubbabel. Zechariah came back with him. So I'm in Haggai chapter 2, verse 20. And again, the word of the Lord came unto Haggai in the 4th and 20th day of the month, saying, speak to Zerubbabel, see that? King of Judah, saying, I will shake the heavens and the earth. I will overthrow the kingdoms of the earth. That's what we're witnessing right now. And I will destroy the strength of the kingdoms of the heathen. and I will overthrow the chariots and those that ride in them, and the horses and the riders shall come down, every one by the sword of his brother. Then, after you do all that, 23, in that day, saith the Lord of hosts, this already happened, will I take thee, O Zerubbabel, my servant, son of Sethel, saith the Lord, and I will make thee a signet. See that? For I have chosen thee, saith the Lord. So ain't nothing new under the sun. We go back over here to Isaiah chapter 11, verse 10. We're doing the same thing right here. This is what we're going to use in the latter days. And in that day, there should be a root out of Jesse. Like I say, can't go, ain't nowhere to go but one place. This ain't Jesus. Jesse ain't none of, Jesus came out of the root of David. So the lie goes. So this person right here says, in that day shall be a root out of Jesse. Ain't but one person. Can't fumble with it. Ain't but one person. There's the root out of Jesse, which shall stand for an ensign. Just like I just read over there in Haggai chapter 2. Except he right here, he using David for an ensign. And David already did. So that entails, and it tells you right there, it's a resurrection. They already knew it was going to be a resurrection. They don't need nobody to come for no resurrection. He chilling you right here. He says, and in that day, there shall be a root out of Jesse, resurrected, which shall stand for an ensign of the people. To it shall the Gentiles see, and his rest shall be glorious. Not to JC, then 11. And it shall come to pass in that day that the Lord shall set his hand again, a second time, to recover the remnant. They go to remnant, those that did escape of his people, which shall be left from Assyria and from Egypt, from Patros and from Cush, Elam and from Shinar and from Hamath and from the isles of the sea. And he shall set up an ensign for the nations and shall assemble the outcasts of Israel and gather together to disperse the Judah from the four corners of the earth. I'm going to read that again. And he shall set up an ensign for the nations and shall assemble the outcasts of Israel and gather together to disperse the Judah. See that? Judah over in America. Disperse the Judah from the four corners of the earth. The envy also of Ephraim shall depart, and the adversaries of Judah shall be cut off. Ephraim shall not envy Judah, and Judah shall not vex Ephraim. We just talked about that Monday. But they shall fly upon the shoulders of the Philistines toward the west, and they shall spoil them of the east together. They shall lay their hand upon Edom and Moab, and the children of Ammon shall obey. You back that up. 14. But they shall fly upon the shoulders of the Philistines toward the west. They shall spoil them of the east together. They shall lay their hands upon Edom. So that's big, because Edom is the bankers. Rothschild, all them, they got all the money. So he say right here, they shall lay their hands upon Edom. They go to Revelations in the great substance right there. They shall lay their hands upon Edom and Moab, and the children of Ammon shall obey them, and the Lord shall utterly destroy the tongue of the Egyptian sea, and with his mighty wing shall he shake his hand over the river, and shall smite it in 7 streams, and make men to go over Strashah. And there shall be a highway for the remnant of his people, which shall be left from Assyria, like as it was to Israel in the day that they came up out of the land of Egypt. So, like I say, when you don't have the whole picture, the full picture, you're not understanding what's going on. I was showing you when, I'm going to go to that in a minute, but I'm going to tell you right now. But so I told you when Abraham was down in Gerar with Amalek, and he made a covenant with Amalek, he got 7 huge lambs. When he told one of his shepherds to go get 7 huge lambs, they're going to be for a witness between the covenant that he made at the well with Amalek. So why 7 huge lambs? Because 7 angels. You don't take a rocket science to figure that out. So let's look at this right here. I just read in verse 15. And the Lord shall utterly destroy the tongue of the Egyptian sea, right? And with his mighty wind. The mighty wind came when he split the Red Sea. So he split the Red Sea, and the Israelites went through. One stream was there. That's because the Lord of hosts was there. So one stream went through. Look here. And the Lord shall utterly destroy the tongue of the Egyptian sea, and with his mighty wind shall he shake his hand over the river, and he shall smite it in what? 7 streams. Why 7 streams? We got 7 different ways to cross the river and make men go over dry shod. There's 7 angels there. 7 angels. That's why it's 7 streams. They've been fumbling with this. And then 16, last verse. And there shall be a highway. See that? Highway got more than 1 lane. And so there shall be a highway for the remnant of his people, which shall be left from Assyria, like as it was Israel in the day that he came up out of the land of Egypt. So one more verse pertaining to that. And then Daniel. I'm just giving you some examples and trying to connect some dots. Daniel chapter 8. Okay, what's going on in chapter 7. Daniel had a dream. And then when he finished having the dream, it says in verse 15, he had a dream, right? So it says, I, Daniel, verse 15, I, Daniel, was grieved in my spirit in the midst of my body. It's Daniel 7, verse 15. I, Daniel, was grieved in my spirit in the midst of my body, and visions of my head troubled me. So you see, he had a vision, right? So what's the process? The angel, Most High give the angel a vision or whatever to take to Daniel. He goes to Daniel. You have to enter into Daniel. You got to enter into Daniel. That's one of the characteristics that these angels got that we can't do. So he entered into Daniel. That's how Daniel had a vision. And because of that, Daniel weak. So he says, 15, I, Daniel, was grieved in my spirit in the midst of my body. That's because the angel entered into him and gave him his vision, right? See, and the vision of my head troubled me. He off. So verse 16 is going to explain what I'm trying to show you. I came near unto one of them that stood by. It's more than 7 standing there. Daniel just came, he weak, and he all discombobulated. He's the closest one. He just came to the closest one. So he says, 16, I came near unto one of them, there's more than one, that stood by, and I asked him the truth of all this. So he told me and made me know the interpretation of these things. So, but like I said before, you know, I know that's how everybody saw this because that's how I saw it. You thought you didn't see, you didn't have no understanding there was more than one. You think it's one angel there talking to him, but all 7 of them are there. And Daniel just came to the closest one. He discombobulated. So he just came to the closest one that was nearest to him and asked him what was going on. Okay. So that was Daniel chapter. Isaiah chapter. I read Isaiah chapter 10 and Isaiah chapter 11. Open it up for some Q&A. Anybody got any questions or comments on what they heard, or they might have a question for something they was reading or something they was dealing with. So I'm gonna open it up now and see if anybody got any questions. If you don't, then we'll close out. No questions, no comments. Okay. Everybody good? Everybody good?
This process, we're processing it. There was one thing I was looking at that you were reading just now.
Okay, Daniel.
It was either Daniel or Isaiah. So I know we talked about this before. The Ancient of Days, is that the Lord of Hosts or that? That wasn't my question, but I'm just looking at that now too. Is that the
Yeah,
Lord of Hosts?
that's a lot
Or
of
is
hope.
that, okay. Ancient of Days, Lord of Hosts, and 'cause it was somewhere we were just reading. It was saying both names. 22. We weren't quite in 22. 7:22.
Daniel 7:22.
Mm-hmm.
Daniel 7:22. Until the ancient of days came and judgment was given unto the saints of the Most High, and the time came that the saints possessed the kingdom. So, like I was saying before, how you rightly divide that is, uh, who overseeing?
The Most High. But overseeing on the earth, this could be Michael. I
No,
mean, overseeing
Michael,
everything.
Michael overseeing where it's in heaven on earth. He overseeing period.
Okay.
So you have to understand that. So, and why the Most High put the burden? He put that burden on him. Seeing he overseeing. So sin can't come near to him because he's the one that's on the right hand side of the Father. So he can't take sin back up to heaven. He can't go back up to heaven with the Most High with sin on him. Yahweh, he can't tolerate sin at all. He automatically gonna reach out. He's a consuming fire. He gonna automatically reach out and deal with sin, burn it up. Let's look at that right quick. I mean, Exodus. Okay, let me get it right quick. It won't take me that long. See, I'm in chapter 19. And I'm on verse chapter 19, the Exodus verse 10. And the Yahweh creator then came down on Mount Sinai. Like I said, remember these angels on top of these mountains. That's why they're going up to these high places, these heathens, and sacrificing to these angels and making human sacrifice to them. That's what they're requiring from them. So when Moses went to Mount Horeb after he left Egypt, he came when he got there, the Lord of hosts lit on the bush because that's his mountain. So so the mountain belonged to the Lord of hosts. Y'all, that's when he said, "My footstool, the earth is the heavens is my home, and the earth is my footstool." Because Michael down here on, so Michael on Mount Hermon, on the mountain, Yahweh comes down because his right hand man is on it. That's his mountain. So he come down a cloud over the top of the mountain. It's Yah in the cloud. So I'm gonna pick it up in 19 and 10. And the Lord said unto Moses, "Go up to the people and sanctify them today and tomorrow, and let them wash their feet and be ready against today. For the third day the Lord will come down in the sight of all the people upon Mount Sinai. And thou shalt set," look at this, "thou shalt set bounds unto the people round about, saying, Take heed to yourselves that ye go not up into the mount, or touch the borders of it. Whosoever touches of the mount shall be surely put to death. There shall not be a hand that touch it, but he shall surely be stoned or shot through, whether it be beast or man. He shall not live. When the trumpet sounded long, they shall come up into to the mount." So he telling them, they can't come up there. They can't. This ain't no regular. This ain't business as usual. Yahweh on there. You gonna go up there to peek through, like Sarah did when Moses was talking to the Lord. I mean, when Abraham was talking to the Lord of hosts in the tent, she came there eavesdropping. They don't work with Yahweh. He's a consuming fire. He gonna sin. He gonna reach out and burn it up. You can't come around him. So that was the purpose of him creating Michael. So let's look at it. I mean, Genesis chapter 12. Let me see. Genesis chapter 12, yeah. Genesis chapter 12, verse 7. And it says, and the Lord appeared. See that? The Lord appeared unto Abram and said unto thee and thy seed will I give this land. And that's there he built an altar unto the Lord who appeared unto him. See that? So this can't be, this ain't Yahweh, it's the Lord of hosts, because Yahweh would have burned him up. That's how we know this ain't created. That's how you can distinguish. So he sent Abraham, he sent the Lord of hosts to go deal with Abraham. He can't deal with him head up because he's gonna burn him up. Because he can't deal with sin. And that's why he's an angel. Let's go back to Exodus right quick. 23. On Exodus 23. Verse 20. He says, this Yahweh on Mount Sinai talking to Moses, behold, I send an angel, his angel, before thee to keep thee in the way, to bring thee into the place which I have prepared. Beware of him, obey his voice, provoke him not, for he will not pardon your transgressions. See that? That's why this angel over transgression.
Okay, I see.
You see that?
So am I wrong when I say, because I've been saying the Most High, so Yahweh is a better term for
Right,
it than
right. It's better way to distinguish the two.
okay.
And, as far as when you've been on here a while, you pretty much do that. But when you convey it and talking to somebody else, you have to be able to distinguish, to get them to a certain place.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I was talking about earlier about what you're doing is spiritual. You think it's regular old stuff, but it ain't. It's a soul, it's a spirit that's inside that person. That's what you're addressing. That's why you do more listening than talking, because the spirit that's in them is crying out. So they ask a certain question, then that's what you address. You ain't got to drop. I mean, they ask you about Samuel, then you don't go over there talking about Saul. You address. They ask you what was going on with Samuel, or a particular question about Samuel, then you deal with Samuel.
Mm-hmm.
Saul ain't got to do with it. Yeah.
Okay.
That's how they work. Yeah.
That those names just, and that particular, I guess, scripture, that verse was confusing. So yeah, but I see it.
Okay. Right. Well, when they wrote it, they was writing it to confuse you, because they want to
Exactly.
not deal with the truth. They want to give you another understanding. That's why that's like that. That's why he'll say Lord God. So let me give you an example. Let me show you what I'm talking about. Look at Genesis chapter 1, right quick. And then once you see this, then you can see what they're trying to do. Genesis chapter 1, right? Verse 1. It says, in the beginning, God. See that?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay, chapter 1, verse 3. And God said. Then verse 4, and God said. You turn the page you go to Genesis chapter 1 and 24. And God said. See that? See that?
Yeah, I got it.
Then 26. Verse 26 says, and God said.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I'm over in chapter 2. You in chapter 2?
Yes.
Verse 5. Every plant of the field, this after the seventh day, after God rested, Yahweh rested. 5. And every plant of the field before it was in the earth, and every herb of the field before it grew, for the Lord God. Now it's the Lord God.
Mm.
See that?
Yep.
So they fumbling with this. It's the Lord of hosts.
Okay.
See what I'm saying? So they playing with it when they
Yeah.
when you know, yeah, okay, you can see that. All right. Anybody got anything? So that was two different beings.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
I saw it in Genesis. I guess when I started learning about this, everybody was saying the Most High that I was watching. So I always referred to Yahweh as the Most High.
He is the Most High.
Was using that. Yeah, that's what that verse was confusing me because it said the Most High and the Ancient of Days. So it was
Right.
talking about one and the same. But like you said, they using God over and over in different ways so that we think it's all one person. Yeah.
Right. Right. So it says that when you really get to understand what's going on, so that word pierce in Hebrew, the meaning for that word is to denigrate, to downgrade, to take a person, to take away his role. So the person that got pierced is Lord of Hosts. They got you thinking they didn't took away, denigrated his role and got you thinking Jesus is on the right hand side of the Father, but he ain't. Okay, let me show what I'm talking about. I'm in Zechariah right quick. Then we go to something else. Zechariah chapter. You've been in Christianity. You didn't seen this before. I'm in Zechariah chapter 12, verse 10. You got it?
1 second. Zechariah. I have my phone there. I'm having to look it up. Okay.
So I'm going to verse 10. I'm starting at 9. It shall come to pass in that day that I will seek to destroy all the nations that come against Jerusalem, right? And I say, so we know that's the Lord of hosts talking, right? 10. That's the Lord of hosts, will pour upon the house of David and upon the inhabitants of Jerusalem the spirit of grace and supplication, right? Back in Christianity, saying it's Jesus, but it says, and I will, and it says, and upon the inhabitants of Jerusalem and the spirit of grace and supplication, and they shall look upon me. See that? Me, that's the Lord of hosts, whom they have pierced. It ain't Jesus.
Yeah.
See that? Now, look, but watch this. Just the order right here. And they shall mourn for him. So he said they're gonna look upon me, whom they pierced, but they're gonna mourn for him. The him is somebody else, right? Now keep going. As one mourning for his only son, they go to son, and shall be in bitterness for him, as one that is in bitterness for his firstborn. Now this verse right here, what the next three verses are gonna tell you what it is. In that day there shall be a great mourning in Jerusalem, as a mourning of in the valley of Megiddo, and the land shall mourn every family apart, the family of the house of David apart, and their wives apart, the family of the house of Nathan. See that? Who is Nathan?
Not sure who Nathan is.
Go to Second Samuel, chapter 7. Let me know when you get it.
You said chapter 7, 2 Samuel?
Right.
Okay, I got it.
So I'm starting at verse 1. And it came to pass when the king sat in his house that the Lord had given him rest round about from all his enemies, that the king said to Nathan, there go Nathan right there, Nathan the prophet. So back way over here in Zechariah, Nathan dead, ain't
In my
he?
Bible, it's God promised to David. So David was already, at this time, was already dead.
All of them dead. David, Nathan, all of them dead, right?
Okay.
So he just said over here in Zechariah chapter 12, in verse, he said they're going to mourn for him. So I'm in chapter 12 and verse 11. In that day there shall be a great mourning. See that? They mourning for him. We know this ain't the Lord of hosts. They mourning for him in Jerusalem. As a mourning in Hadam and the valley of Megiddo, and the land shall mourn every family apart. The house of David apart, the family of the house of David apart, and their wives apart, and the family of the house of Nathan. So Nathan has been resurrected. Who was Nathan dealing with when he was alive? David. That's what he's talking about. That's who the hymn is. Let me read it again. Chapter 12 of Zechariah, verse 10. I will pour upon the house of David, and upon the house of David is all the kings, and upon the inhabitants of Jerusalem the spirit of grace and supplication, and they shall look upon me, that's the Lord of hosts, whom they have pierced, they denigrated him. That's Psalms 83. And they shall mourn for him, that's David, as one mourning for his only son, and shall be in bitterness for him. They're going to be in bitterness. All these people, they know David. They knew David was the Messiah. They've been resurrected. It says, as one that is in bitterness for his firstborn. In that day shall there be a great mourning in Jerusalem. This when he resurrect David. As the mourning of Hemageddon in the valley of Megiddo, and the land shall mourn every family apart, and the family of the house of David apart, and their wives apart, and the family of the house of Nathan apart, and their wives apart. So David is a person. And here it goes right here. Isaiah. Isaiah 66. Isaiah 66. I'm starting at verse 5. So it says, hear ye the word of the Lord, ye that mourn, that tremble at his word. Your brethren, they hated you, they cast you out for my name's sake, said, let the Lord be glorified, but he shall appear to your joy. See that? So he shall appear, takes you back to Zechariah, what Zechariah was saying. He said, when they see him, they're going to look upon him, him that they pierce. So right here, he says, when he shall appear, just the Lord host, to your joy, they shall be ashamed. Then once he appears, a voice, his voice, a voice of noise from the city, a voice of the temple, a voice of the Lord that renders recompense. The only way he's going to render recompense is resurrect David. David is the one going to render his recompense for him. Then 7, before she travailed, she brought forth. So before he resurrected all our forefathers in Ezekiel 37, before he done that, this woman, Zion, before her pains came, she was delivered of a man child, that's David. That takes you back to Zechariah, what I just read. When he resurrected David, then all of them, they mourning. All these people knew, they don't know nothing about America, and they don't know nothing about Caribbeans and all that in Great Britain. When they died, David was the Messiah. And when he resurrected him, and then he resurrect all of them, it's going to be a great morning. You're looking at David. Okay.
I got it.
Okay. Anybody else got anything before we go? Okay. I'll see y'all on Friday at 8 o'clock. Shalom.
Shalom.
All right.